Okay, now that we have the images downloaded to the folder, we're going to bring it into the project and we're going to go through the process of making the texture fit over our sphere. Remember, the sphere has rounded edges, it has no sides to it. So it's going to distort as it stretches over the top of this. And we're going to go through that process right now. So we're going to start off with our top layer selected. We're going to go to the File menu and choose Place Embedded. When you click this button, you get this menu, and we're going to navigate to our Multimedia 2 folder, Shading a Sphere. There's our elephant skin textures, and I tagged this one as the one I want to use. See that green dot right there? That's why we did that little shopping up front. And I'm going to click Place, and that image is now a part of this document. And you'll see up here at the top, whenever you bring in an image or you adjust an image, you get yes and no. We're going to select yes. We want that. I'm going to lower the opacity of this image right here. Just click on the word opacity and drag it to the left, just so I can see through this image. There we go. I want to see the sphere underneath it. What I can do is kind of move it around and see, oh, where's the best parts of this? What is going to look the best here? And I want some of those big chunky uh, dark spots there, but I don't want the ear to overlap. So I'm going to go do something like this and just kind of place this here. All right. In the next, um, in the next part of this, what I'm going to do is grab my marquee selection tool, this guy right here, and I'm going to draw a rectangle, or actually I'm going to draw a square around the outside of this and say that's the area that I want to wrap around my object. And you want to make it nice and big, so it goes here. I'm going to deselect that and do it a little bit bigger. You can hit this button right here, it says deselect. And I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this because I want the effect to be a little bit more pronounced. So let's go about this big right here. That looks good. Make sure, oh, I drag past the edge here. Let's not do that. Just keep the selection over the texture. There we go. We'll hit this button and transform the selection. So watch this. So once you have that selection, you can click this button, transform the selection. I'm going to resize this a little bit. I want it to be a little bit bigger without going over the edge. So I'm going to zoom in here. I don't want to go past the edge there. I want to go like right here. And then when you got it, go ahead and press done. Great. That's what we're looking for right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this area from this layer. So we press Command J. And what you'll see is this. We'll get a copy of that set of pixels right there, but it's going to make a new layer of it. And I'm going to turn this other one off, just like that. We're going to keep it in the document so that we don't lose it. But the next thing we got to do is make this fit on the sphere and give it that like roundness to it. Right now it's really flat, and what we can do is select this layer, and we're going to go up to the filter menu, and then actually no, I take that back. Let's press Command T. Yeah, let's do it that way. Command T, forget the filter menu. Command T to transform. And then what we're trying to transform is this little button right here. Okay, it's going to give us this grid around the outside of this thing. Now, the grid, just to see it, you can stretch and warp this stuff. It's really cool. It'll tweak the pixels and change the shape of them so that they bend and stretch in all kinds of different ways. But here's what we want to do with this is we're going to go to the corners and we're going to pull the corners in like this till they touch the edge right here. Just bring them in real tight like this. And don't worry about the edges quite yet. We're going to modify these in a second. So you see I got a bulge on this side and up here and down here. To deal with that, what we're going to do is we're just going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to grab this handle and we're going to rotate it until that area fits. Now, you can be a little bit over the edge. That's fine because we're going to turn it into a clipping mask eventually, but we want the warpage that's happening from it. We want it to tweak and bend a little bit. I got a little bit of the ear in there, but you know what? I'm going to work with it. I'm going to take on the challenge and make it work. So you can see I'm making the selection that was a square, a rectangular, is now going to be round, and that's going to cause some distortion in the lines and the mapping of the lines. So we'll get something that looks like this. Bam! Once you get it done, hit this button right here and turn up the opacity and see. Okay, next step is we're going to make a clipping mask out of this. So I'm going to take this layer and move it down one, right click, and say create a clipping mask. Now it's only going to show up where it overlaps what everything else is clipped to, which is this ellipse right here. And to make it show up and to see everything underneath it, what we got to do is use a blending mode. And if we go to multiply, this is a great one for showing texture and color through, but there's a bunch of different ones. That linear burn looks really sick. Um, I like multiply, but I think, ooh, I don't know, man, that linear burn looks really cool. That looks like a texture already. Play around with different ones. Overlay, soft light, there's all kinds. You can get different results from different things here. These are kind of weird. I don't necessarily recommend them because they might be a little bit more challenging for what we're doing, but I mean, don't let me stop you if you're feeling inspired, okay? They just kind of make it a little bit more challenging. Some of these don't do anything. Um, and I think I'm going to go with this linear burn. I like that one a lot. For this particular case, it turned out. But